Now, Chris, you set up your classes really quickly, and of course, there's no deadline, for any of our SwingFit teachers. But I think you broke the record. Can you describe to us when you joined and how soon you set up your classes?
Well, I think I had already got my venues before I started the training, before I did the training, which I think was October 20. Oh, that, yeah, yeah. So I already had my venues lined up, and I knew that once the training day had finished, I had to learn the choreography in a week.
Yes. Oh, I think it might be October 2019.
19, yes, that
We've
sounds
lost,
more like
we've
it.
lost the
Yes,
year,
yes.
haven't we?
Yes. Oh, yes, yes. So yes, I set myself that challenge. And the reason I could do that is because the choreography is very simple and easy to learn. I have other formats under my belt, and their choreography is more complicated, and I couldn't possibly have set myself that challenge then. But it's so easy to learn that yes, I did it, and I had to because I had classes starting. I hadn't quite had I it's difficult. I hadn't quite advertised, I don't think, because obviously I needed to know whether I was going to pass or whether I was going to complete the course. But yeah, it was a quick turnaround.
Yeah. So those of you who are listening, do jot down your questions and then you can ask at the end. So, Chris, I'm interested in your dance background. We kind of met at Modern Jive, or rather, I think I danced with Chris's husband at Modern Jive many years ago. And how much swing dance, Lindy Hop, or Charleston experience did you have prior to joining Swing Fit teachers?
None of that particular genre. Modern jive, yes, I had done that as a participant for quite some time, but really the other styles, unless it was within that, no, nothing.
Hmm. So you picked it up very quickly, partly
Mm.
because Chris is an organized person, I have to say. She's very organized. She's great at time management and task management. She's a good planner, so that's on her side. And she knows she has the discipline to just get on and practice. You are a busy person, Chris. How did you manage to know how to plan your time, or is it something you've always done? How much time did you set aside to do your swing fit homework, as it were, whether it's learning choreography or anything?
I don't have a pattern as such. I think it's on a need to do basis. Um, when it came to having to learn all the choreography at once, I just had to focus. I had to give myself the time I needed. Now that I've got them under my belt and we're learning a few at a time, I sort of think, well, it's coming to the end of the month. I want to change my playlist for next month. I need to have a look and see what I'm going to put in, refresh myself on the ones I haven't done for a while, learn the new ones I'm going to put in. Um, I think it's different for everyone, and it depends on what you need to plan for. But um, it's not too difficult, and it's enjoyable. I think
Mm,
that's the thing. It's not
yeah,
it's not a task. It's not a hard
yeah,
task. It's an enjoyable thing to do. So you don't want to put it off. You don't want to think, oh, I'll do that later. It's something you can just get
yeah.
on with.
If I remember rightly, you haven't even been to a normal swing fit class, did you?
No, I
Or
don't think I had. I think
going
I'd
straight to being a
you'd
teacher?
allowed me to join the SwingFit Sisters
Mm,
group just to
mm,
see what was going on.
yeah.
Um, but and I was going to go in a different direction regarding a class, but having done the training and seeing what was involved in it, I decided to go in this direction
Yeah.
and not look back really.
Yeah, great. Well, we have a question from Anna. She says, "Have you done dance or fitness instruction before? And if you've done those, why are you choosing to include swing fit as well?"
Well, I do have an exercise qualification. I did my exercise to music about 20 or so years ago, and I was doing aerobics, then later Zumba, and also clubbercise as a sideline. I was working as a full-time primary school teacher at the time, so it was a hobby. I've since retired and knew that I needed to have something to supplement my teacher's pension. And like I say, I was going to go down the Zumba Gold route. And that was my plan. I'd done the license in preparation, then came across SwingFit and just found it was something different,
Mm.
particularly as it's not in our area. It was something I enjoyed doing. It was something easy to pick up for me and easy to teach for the ladies to follow as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether I've answered all of that question
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you've already
Mm-hmm.
done Zumba, done club size, so you already had a following. Yeah.
Well, I had, I think it's a different set of people because these are now my classes before were evening classes because I was working, and these classes are daytime classes.
Or swing fit at daytime classes.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. So I've had to get a different group of people involved.
Yes. Brilliant. Well, that's what new aspiring teachers want to hear. How did how did you get new participants? You had your venues lined up. What about the participants? How did you get them?
Advertise on Facebook, just put it out onto Facebook. In the past, when I've had classes to advertise, when Facebook wasn't available or wasn't something that we all were familiar with, then you had to sort of put posters around and that kind of thing. I think I just flooded Facebook. My own page, invited all of my friends, although it was difficult because they worked during the day. So I knew that they particularly wouldn't be able to come, but they might know somebody else who could come.
Hmm.
Um, and I tend to use a lot of the local advertising groups. Or we have in Stockton, we have one called Stockton always something going on in Stockton, and it advertises things that are happening. There's one more specific to the area where my class is, and
Hmm.
they're keen to put it on. I think it's just getting it out there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was quite pleased with the amount of people who were interested quite quickly in the
So,
class.
yeah, as you all can hear, Chris is very proactive. All right. She's full of action, which I love. Basically, if you don't take action, nothing happens. All right. So I can give you the knowledge, I can give you the skills, you can learn stuff, and then you need to take action. The thing about Facebook is free. So the worst that can happen, nobody sees your post, nobody comes, but it doesn't cost you anything. So one of the things we do is we learn about Facebook advertising, we discuss it amongst the sisters, but in the end, the reason Chris is successful, one of the reasons is she takes action. She takes the next step. So that's, you're a great example to keep us all motivated, Chris. Really, you are. So my next question for Chris will be, when you first joined SwingFit, did you have any worries or reservations, maybe about SwingFit or just maybe about yet another dance program in general?
Think of anything specific. Having sort of set my own classes up previously, I had that sort of knowledge to work with. So I kind of had an advantage on how to approach venues, what to look for in a venue, what kind of price is acceptable for a venue to charge. So that wasn't so bad. I think delivering the actual Swing Fit program wasn't an issue because I knew it was ideal for the ladies I was looking for. I knew they would love it, and even now, some people can just hear the music and they'll just say how much they love the music. I think any sort of possible things that I wasn't sure about, we have the support of Julie. You get a lot of coverage in the training, and we've had a lot of support since that. So if we've had any questions or anything that we're not sure about, we can ask Julie, or we can share on our SwingFit Sisters page as well. So if you have any issues at all, someone else might have had it or might be able to give an answer or a suggestion. So anything like that can be easily overcome.
Yeah, we're not alone. That's the main thing. One of the
Mm-hmm.
things I've been teaching this weekend is you've got to decide how much of it you want to do yourself and how much of it you want to get help with. And I kind of compared it with DIY. I don't want to do it myself for sure. So you've got to decide how much of it you want to do and how much you want to get help with. So we know you are very organized. We know you're good with planning. I know you're good with time management. What would you say are the areas you're maybe not so good at when you first joined? Because all of us are different in the SwingFit Sisters group. So where one of us isn't so good, we help, someone else will help you. So one of us may not be so good with social media, somebody else will help in the group. Somebody may be very good about technology, like Angeline, and she's been helping. So what would you say would be your personal areas of challenge?
Well, I had thought I was quite good at putting together posters for advertising. I did a lot of that kind of thing in my job, but I only ever used Word and Publisher and that kind of thing. So SwingFit and the sisters introduced me to Canva, which is the program that now I am absolutely
Adult.
amazed
And
about.
it's free. And
Absolutely.
it's free.
And I must, at first, when you told us about it, Julie, I looked at it and I thought, oh no, I'm happy with what I've got, you know. But as you dip your toe into it and you can see what you can do and the graphics and the images and things. So that's something I have certainly learned from Ruth with her videos and how she's sort of helped us get better with creating videos and that kind of thing. So yeah, my some of my technology skills, which I thought were okay, have been massively improved.
Well, if ever you want to, you need to go and look at Swing Fit with Chris. So I'll show you her page. She's a good one of the good ways to learn is not to figure things out yourself. We're very pleased to share. And I'm going to share a screen with you. So all our teachers have a name for their group. So for Chris, it's called Swing Fit with Chris. With Ruth, it's called Swing Fit with Ruth. So we got Swing Fit with Chris. Yeah, we've got her lovely jazz hands there again. And then you can just see what Chris posts. Look at her whiz. Look at her designs. All right, so she's got all the right colors for Swing Fit. She's talking about brightening the day. She tells people what time the classes are on, and she puts it on regularly. Okay, she puts it on regularly. So that is really it's a learning thing, and you didn't mind learning. And I have to say, with Chris, even if there's a routine she hasn't quite tuned into yet, she often say, "I'm not quite tuned into this particular routine, but I'll just leave it." And then at the later day, she goes, "Actually, I've had another look."
Yeah.
So one of the great things about you, Chris, is you remain open, even if you think
Mm,
you've got an answer already.
mm,
So
mm,
that's absolutely fantastic. Right, before we finish with Chris's session, if anyone's got any final questions, this is your chance to pop it in the chat box. It's nice to speak with real life teachers because, of course, I'll say is great. So Wendy says, how many usually in your classes, and what is the main demographic of your participants? So you can talk
mm,
about pre-COVID, COVID,
mm,
and
mm.
but let's start with the demographic.
Well, I have mainly, I think, like you have our ideal client, that is the older lady who's retired and looking for things to do to keep herself active. I definitely have that. A lot of those ladies. I do have some younger people um, who sort of fit that criteria, but not exactly. So yeah, it's pretty much like you say, Julie, the older lady, the retired lady, the ladies who are perhaps I've got a lot of ladies who are already doing line dancing and they've sort of have an influx of them. They seem to be telling each other about it, and that's just a natural way of getting people. So it's often people who are already doing something and want to do something else or something different. But then I have just had a lady call me whose husband died a year ago, and she wants to get out of the house. I mean, she says she's already active, but she's looking for something else to get her out of the house. So it's people who want to meet each other, meet new people. And it's ideal for that because, like I said to her, our ladies are so welcoming, so lovely. And really, no one is left to feel awkward about coming into a class.
Mm,
So it's mainly, the demographic is mainly the ideal client.
yeah. And I'm very proud that Ruth and Chris have both looked after their ladies throughout the pandemic. They haven't abandoned them and thought, right, classes are closed, let's forget about this. They've kept their ladies going. So in terms of your numbers, how many do you get usually average in your class pre-COVID?
Pre-COVID, Well, I have to think back because I actually had 5 weeks in New Zealand just before COVID. And luckily, one of the SwingFit sisters covered my classes, so that kept them going. So I think I would probably on my Monday class, there was about 20. Um, Classes were different places and different times, and I've had to change venues because of COVID. I would say 20 was probably a good class. Um,
Yeah.
Now and over COVID, we started off with a lot of members, and then as the people got used to COVID and found other things to do, the Zoom classes got quite low actually. Just before going back on the 17th of May, I was only getting 5 or 6 people to each class, sort of the ladies who were really have kept with me all the way through. Since going back, it's just gone crazy. I As soon as I started to say we were going back, I was having people coming to say, "Can we come? Can we come?" Now my Monday class now I have to restrict numbers because of the size of the venue. So whereas I probably could have got 20-25 in
Yeah.
before, I'm having to max it at 16, but I'm getting that on a
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah.
My Wednesday venue has changed. It's now a huge sports hall, which was never going to be an ideal venue pre-COVID because it was too big. But now it's brilliant because it's so big and I'm getting sort of 19, 20 in that one. But Friday, for some reason, 7.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's.
Try to see that. How adaptable Chris is. You know, the pandemic came, she adapted it, she looked after her ladies, taking them for walks, chatting to them, helping them to get on